Hey guys, before we get into today's video, I do want to quickly say that I am now streaming on Twitch. Yes, correct. I am streaming on Twitch. I do mostly Minecraft. I only do Minecraft for right now because of my graphics card. But I stream CTF. I also stream the Plug SMP. I might be streaming some other stuff in the future, maybe other mini games or other games that my PC can handle. But for right now, it's just strictly those things. If you would please follow me, I would really appreciate it. I am trying to reach affiliate as we speak. I am just like 11 followers away. So if you could please follow me, I would really appreciate it, and stop by and just say hello. And I am trying to stream CTF every Friday or Saturday. So if you see me on those days, and you can see if I'm streaming on Twitch, it is the same as my YouTube, Tyler Taco Bell. I will be leaving a link in the description, and yeah. Alright, anyways, on to the video. Okay, so offensive strategy for Seclusion. So this is one of, in my opinion, the best balanced maps. It's really good for offensive and defensive strategies. But for offensive strategies, you kind of just want to run straight through, preferably having strong feet so you can take this jump down and then just go straight into their base as quickly as you can. Because most teams don't really try to focus on defending you on the bridges when you leave their base. It kind of just depends on how good the team is. And then you come to the top and take the flag, and I always take this tower. It's way safer than going down the stairs to their spawn, and it just gives you a lot more lean room on getting out of their base safely. Now you gotta wait for a clearing at the top bridge, which can be one of the more frustrating things about Seclusion, because you got to rely on your teammates, and sometimes your teammates just really aren't the greatest. So it's gonna be a little bit difficult, and it might have to be something where you got to rely on yourself and trust on yourself, and you also have to make the jumps correctly. But it's a really nice way to feel safe and holding their flag. But like I said, this is something that you would need strong feet for. If you felt confident in going to the other tower and taking the under part of the bridge, then you could do that. Something that's also really nice about this map is you can be very sneaky. There's something I tend to do where I will shift and sneak all the way across to the opposite tower and jump down the little ladder thing, and then sneak out on the bottom bridge to the point where they can't see my name tag, and then just make a run for it. That can be something that you could do if you know that the team you're going up against is a pretty strong team and your teammates aren't really that reliable. There's not really a whole lot of different paths with Seclusion, because there's literally just two bridges in. Top bridge and a bottom bridge, and to me the top bridge is going to be safer because you can't have people jumping down on you, whereas in bottom bridge you may not know if there's someone on the top bridge or not. And going down the stairs on the side to where their spawn is really not safe, because I mean, duh, that's their spawn. Some people like to be really risky and run all the way across the little wire on the sides, and if you are that daring, then you can go ahead and do it, but that's not something I'm very daring with. I don't think I've ever actually done it, to be honest. I've never had a point where I thought that going up there was going to be, or going down that way was going to be a safe idea. But if you're daring, then by all means do it. Okay, so for defensive strategies on Seclusion, It's like I said, this map is very balanced, so you can really do a lot defensively and still feel like you can save your flag or protect your flag or whatever. The best thing, honestly, like here, when someone has your flag, I always just try to stay on the top bridge and just wait for them and fend off anybody on the other team who's trying to come up the bridge with my bow. And like I said, this map is really important with bows. Whether the person just drops down onto the wire and then drops down on the bottom bridge, you can easily just take them out. Or if they go all the way across on the wire on the side, you can shoot them off if you feel like you're pretty good with a bow. It's not really a hard shot, honestly, because they can't like fully sprint down on it. They have to have a little bit of caution with everyone shooting at them. This map is also really great to just kind of sit back and shoot in the mid against a team who's rushing. If you feel like, you know, maybe you can't really get into their base that well and take the flag, if you want to just focus on kills, you can set in the middle area and just go to the towers and shoot from the towers very easily. I usually like to go on the one to the left side when you are leaving your base, just because I feel like that's a little bit better angle in my opinion. Maybe I'm just weird, I don't know, but this map is really great for saving your flags as well if you're at the other team's base, because what you can do is you can jump all the way down onto the bridge or hide within their base without them knowing and try and kill them and surprise them whenever they come into their own base. They're probably not going to suspect that you're going to be there, but it's such a wide open area within their base with a lot of hiding spots that you can kind of surprise them pretty well. And like I said, this is really dependent on your bow, because you're going to need your bow to snipe people off of things or shoot people up in the towers or whatever. There's not a lot of times where this is about PvP with a sword, because the bridges are so small and compact. People are going to automatically go to their bows to try and defend you off of their flag and stuff. And if you really want to be an actual camper, you could go to the very top of your own base and set on top of the flag or the little platform that's right in front of the flag and shoot from there. It's a really great spot to fend off the other team if you are getting pushed pretty hard and you feel like there's no other choice but you got to stay at the top and shoot. It's really great because the other team is going to have a harder angle trying to shoot you from that. Since you're at the high ground, you get a better angle on them than someone who's having to shoot up. But yeah, like I said, this is a pretty strong map for defense, but it's not to the point where you can feel safe, because if you get killed at the top of your base against someone, then you got to respawn all the way back down at the bottom of your base. And at that point, I would say it's best to just go out onto the bridges and try and shoot the person from there once they take your flag, because they're going to have to come back down on the bridge to get out of your base. Overall, I think that Seclusion is one of the most balanced maps. I think it's very strong defensively. I think it's very strong offensively. You have a lot of breathing room on both sides. If you feel like there's ever a game where there's like, no way can I get the flag, this is such a good map to at least do something because of how the spawn and the flag placement is. And that's one of the most important things on making a map balanced, is where the flag is placed at compared to where the spawn is at. Anytime where there's a map where the spawn is in front of the flag, it's a very frustrating map to work with. This is a really unique one because it's one of the few that I can think of where the flag is placed above the spawn, and it works well because there's several different ways that a team can work their way in. Obviously there's only really 2 entries, but how spawn is located, you can't just quickly go to the door and stop them. By the time you get there, they're already either at the ladders or at the stairs, and you're gonna have to chase them down, and by the time you're doing that, there's someone else entering. So, and it can be the same vice versa. If you are on the defensive side of things, you can take control very well, and especially at saving your flag. Protecting it, you know, there's not as much room there as saving it. You know, you can stand at middle, you could be at their own base, you could be at your base. You can put yourself in a really great position to save your flag if you're paying attention and looking around and you're good with the bow. This is personally my favorite map, so obviously I'm a little bit biased, but I think if you look at how it actually is placed and how everything works, it's a really balanced map, and it's one of the more popular maps. I see it get played quite frequently, and it's a very strong, I don't know how to say this, it's a very strong map for either sides of the spectrum. If you're a defensive player, if you're more of an offensive player, you're gonna like this map no matter what, because it's not frustrating to play on either side of things. The only frustrating thing about Seclusion, I would say, is the fact that you if you don't like bow spam or lots of shooting, it can be frustrating because this is usually a pretty bow spam heavy map, and strong feet is kind of not required, but it's preferred on this map. But yeah, I think in terms of balance, it's probably the most balanced map on Capture the Flag on MC Central. In terms of overall grading, I would give this map a grade of A, which is the highest. It's just, you know, like I said, this part is strictly opinionated, but it's just such a fun map. It's very strong on both ends. It's not too frustrating, and it's just a really enjoyable map. And I think if there was just a little bit more color to it or something, maybe, that it would be better, or maybe a third little secret pathway into the base, then it could be, you know, really top tier. But I love to rush, and I love to try and save the flag, and it's a great map to get kills on too. So it's just a really fun map. I'd never go into Seclusion and just get frustrated. It's a fun map, so it definitely deserves an A in my opinion.